The machine, when you receive it, should be pretty much totally set up. The machine gets set on the track, which is mounted on the table along the entire length of the table. There's a bracket every 18 inches. When you mount the track to the table, it should be set so that the top rail is flush with the top of the table, and that will put the gear rack, which is down in the center that drives the feed rolls, approximately 1/4 inch below the surface. The trackers come with a mounting bracket where you'll mount the mounting bracket to the table, and this is the bracket that's in the track. The fasteners supplied to mount the track to the mounting bracket, but you'll have to supply the fasteners that mount the bracket to the table, as we don't know what exactly type of table you're going to be using. Your machine also has a cart. There's a cart rail that comes along with the machine. The cart rail should be mounted at the base of the table. You can mount it either right against the base of the feet, or you can mount it off. There'll be holes bolted into the cart rail approximately every 24 inches so you can lag it to the floor. In addition, wherever the pieces mount together, there'll be a steel plate which you can mount down through to hold the two pieces together. It'll draw them together and keep the sections even. The cart rides on 4 wheels on the floor and is guided down the rail by 2 guide wheels down the side of the on the back side of the cart. The cart is attached to the machine by a rod connection, which is bolted to an angle plate on the cart, and there is a stud that mounts on the machine that comes out of the motor position and is held on by a set collar. The machine, once you're set, can be operated the way it's set up currently is for straight spreading. And this way the light is hanging from the back of the machine on 2 poles hooked in by 2 pins. And there is a shaft for quarter turning which is hanging in a bracket that's mounted on the front post. This will allow the machine to be opened up so the cloth can go over top for straight spreading. The machine. The machine has now been converted and is ready to accept material for quarter turning. The feed rolls are adjusted for their speed by a coarse and fine speed adjustment. They also can be totally disconnected so that the machine can drive down the table without the rolls spinning. The coarse adjustment is on the right-hand side, the same as we've done for many years, where you have a locked nut and a pulley flange. The higher the belt rides and the pulley behind this flange, the faster the rolls turn. The lower it rolls, conversely, the slower the rolls turn and feed less material onto the table. You will loosen the nut by turning it counterclockwise with a spanner wrench or pin. Then you will loosen the flange counterclockwise, will allow the belt to go further down in the pulley. Counterclockwise or clockwise will make the belt go higher in the pulley, and then you would lock it with a nut. This adjustment would have to be made with the machine in the stop mode. There is also a ratchet assembly on the front of the machine where the machine is moving you can do what we call a fine adjustment. And lifting up on it will decrease the feed, and you can reset the ratchet, and pulling down on it will increase the feed on the table. That separates 2 pulleys between them with a variable adjustable belt inside. There is a ratchet mechanism, feed roll mechanism on the operator side of the machine. The rolls themselves can be lifted manually by pushing down on the feed handle, or they can be lifted automatically. Every time the machine reaches the end of the table, it will hit the micro switch, which will engage the automatic motor that pulls the rolls down for 1 cycle. This cycle is adjustable so that by taking the switches on the back of the machine, for setting the both on, it will do it both ends of the table, and for doing double on, it will do a double click for every time it Electrical box is mounted on the back of the machine. This is where you'll run your power through to. You may have to hook your power source to the top frame of the machine depending on what type of feed rail or power feed you have going to the machine. The electrical box also has an e-stop button mounted to it and the main on-off switch for lockout and tag out when you're working on the machine. On the operator side of the machine, there are two operator interface areas. One is the pistol grip area, which has a dial on it for turning to adjust the speed of the machine when it's running in full speed from the same as the jog speed at the end up to maximum speed. And there's a thumb switch inside of a thumb cradle. If you push it to the right, the machine travels one direction. If you pull it to the left, the machine travels the other direction. If you let go of it, it goes into the center and the machine would stop when it's in the manual mode. The operator interface enclosure has an e-stop button on the side, as well as on the front of the machine there is a digital counter, a stop button, a reset button, a start button, and a hand auto button. With the hand auto button pressed in, the machine is in manual mode, and the thumb switch will allow the machine to, is what you make the machine go back and forth with. Stop button stops the machine and resets the roll lift micro switch should you want to stop the machine and restart. Reset button will reset the machine once it's reached the preset counter. It will reset the counter as well. And the start button, when pressed in conjunction with the thumb switches when in the automatic mode, will make the machine run back and forth automatically. To make the machine run automatically, you pull out the auto manual switch, it will illuminate, and then you press the start button and the thumb switch at the same time, and the machine will travel in that direction. When the machine's in the manual mode, the operator will bring the machine back and forth by use of the thumb switch. In the manual mode, the auto hand button will not be illuminated. The machine will go down the table until it reaches the slowdown cam. It will ramp down to speed and come up to the end stop, and then stop until the operator pushes the button in the opposite direction to go the other way. In the automatic mode, the auto hand button is pulled out, which will illuminate, and then by depressing the green button at the same time you push the thumb switch, the machine will travel down the table until it reaches the slowdown point. It will ramp down to speed until it reaches the end stop, and then will reverse and go the other direction and keep repeating the process until either the operator stops the machine reaches a roll lift limit, or the machine counter gives an output telling the machine that it's reached the number of plies that it wanted to count and turns the machine off at the far end of the table.